You can't get much more biblical or natural than using sourdough in your kitchen. In this video series, I'm sharing 9 reasons why you might want to consider using sourdough for your family's daily bread and more. Before I share the reasons, I do need to tell you what sourdough is. Almost anything you bake can be made with sourdough, and anything sourdough starts with a sourdough starter. This sourdough starter, or mother culture, is a batter of flour and water, yet it's so much more than that. If you looked at it under a microscope, you would see a flourishing and active colony of beneficial organisms, bacteria and yeast. Don't worry about it, they're good guys. And when you mix this with the flour of a recipe and give it time to sour, it rises your baked goods, makes them healthy and delicious. So here are the reasons you might consider using sourdough in your kitchen, beginning with number 1. Sourdough honors God. The Bible mentions leavened bread, yet instant yeast didn't exist back then. They must have been using sourdough. So when you use sourdough in your kitchen, you're going back to the old way, to Bible times. In our family, we love using sourdough first and foremost because it honors God and His design. Reason number 2, it's natural yeast. You don't need to buy store-bought instant yeast anymore. Not only does instant yeast not yield the benefits of sourdough, which we'll talk about, you have to keep buying it. On the other hand, if you're baking anyway, you will always have flour and water to feed your sourdough starter and keep it going. Reason number 3, it's super easy to care for. Remember, a sourdough starter is just flour and water, and to keep it alive, you mix in a bit more flour and water, called a feeding, at regular intervals. Some people keep their sourdough starter on the counter at room temperature and feed it once to twice a day to keep it going, but it can be even easier than that if you need it. You can keep your sourdough starter in the fridge on a break for up to a week at a time, only bringing it out when you want to bake with it. This is what I do most often. Number 4, a sourdough starter and the process of sourdough pre-digests gluten. And this process is especially beneficial if you combine sourdough with ancient grains like spelt or einkorn because they already have gentler forms of gluten and starch. So sourdough is just gentler on the tummy, and that's especially helpful for those who have trouble with digestion. And if someone's sensitive to gluten, you can make gluten-free sourdough baked goods. Number 5, the process of sourdough reduces the carb count in flour. You see, the organisms inside the sourdough starter eat the sugars and starches in flour, and this changes the impact that sourdough bread has on your blood sugar levels. We categorize this impact as high, medium, or low glycemic index, and sourdough can move a bread from high glycemic index to low glycemic index. It's remarkable. I've also seen research that suggests that the acids in sourdough can have a beneficial impact on blood sugar levels too. Number 6, sourdough is just hands down more nutritious. Using sourdough reduces or eliminates anti-nutrients in food. Now, anti-nutrients are food components that work against nutrition. You might have heard of them as phytic acid, enzyme inhibitors, lectins, etc. These are in grains, among other foods, and they lead to digestive troubles, digestive irritation, inflammation, and mineral deficiencies. So it's a very good thing to reduce or eliminate them during the sourdough process. Do keep in mind that only true sourdough recipes like the ones on our website, our books, and our courses accomplish this, and that's for 2 reasons. First, because all the flour in a recipe gets worked on by the sourdough starter. There's no extra flour added later that doesn't get worked on. And second, because our recipes allow for a long enough souring time for the sourdough starter to work its magic. But it's not really magic, it's God's design. Number 7, sourdough bread just lasts longer. You see, souring dough using a sourdough starter produces acids, especially vinegar. Vinegar is a natural preservative, and that's the key reason why sourdough bread lasts longer than non-sourdough bread. Number 8, sourdough is so, I can't say it enough, versatile. You can make all your family's baked goods, even gluten-free ones if you need to, using sourdough. Obviously, the breads and the English muffins, but also cakes, cookies, donuts, pancakes, waffles, biscuits, pizza, and so much more. No one will be bored, and you can rest easy knowing that your homemade sourdough baked goods are healthier and more delicious than anything you can buy. Number 9, the final reason for now why you should use sourdough in your baking. Great flavor. For those who like sour, you can make pucker your lips oh so sour sourdough bread. And those who don't care for sour can enjoy more mild things like cinnamon rolls. So you can suit practically everyone's preferences. It's all in the ratio of starter to flour, the amount of souring time, and the other ingredients used. Want to know how? Click the link below and I'll send you my free and easy instructions for how to start your own sourdough starter, including gluten-free. You can get it going in 5 minutes. See you there. God bless you.